So let's continue with our chapter 2 and we have Mysore. So after the fall of Vijayanagara Empire in South India, Mysore became the most powerful state under the leadership of Hyder Ali. But the real ruler was the Raja Krishnaraj Vodeyar. But Hyder Ali was so powerful and tactful that he made Raja Krishnayar Vodiyar just the namesake ruler. That means all the strategy, all the decisions were taken by Hyder Ali, and Raja Krishnaraj Vodiyar was the namesake ruler. But in the year 1761 AD, he became the real ruler of the Mysore and took all the powers from the Raja Krishnaraj Vodiyar. And after becoming the real ruler of the Mysore, Hyder Ali annexed the Kannada and Malabar region. Kannada and Malabar region, okay? And what do you mean by annexed? It means taking up the empire in your control, okay? So he took the Kannada and Malabar region under his control. He was so powerful and tactful that he built a modern armory in Dindigul. Means in the region of Dindigul, he made a modern armory in the year 1755 AD. That too with the help of French East India Company. Okay, but Mysore was constantly at the war with Nizam, Marathas, and the British. Mysore constantly fought with Nizam, Marathas, and the British, and it defeated British in the year 1779 AD. And this battle is known as Anglo-Mysore War, that is First Anglo-Mysore War, which was in 1779 AD, in which Mysore defeated the Britishers. But in the year 1782, that is Second Anglo-Mysore War happened, and in that Hyder Ali died, okay, and the Britishers won the battle. But after Hyder Ali, his son Tipu Sultan ascended the throne, means he took the throne and became the ruler, and he was the most powerful ruler till his death in 1799 AD during the 4th Anglo-Mysore War. So Britishers fought 4 wars with the Mysore. First 2 wars with the Hyder Ali and the next 2 with Tipu Sultan. And in the 4th war, that is in 1799, Tipu Sultan died. Okay. But during the reign of Tipu Sultan, many developments were seen. Like he developed new calendar, new coins, new standards of measurements, and also he made modern libraries and took active interest in different disciplines such as religion, history, science, and mathematics. He also made an independence tree in Seringapatam and became a member of the Jacobean Club. Okay, and it is said that Tipu Sultan used to say, instead of living a long life of a sheep, it is much better to live a single day as a lion. Okay, and in the these were the developments made by the Tipu Sultan, and under his reign the Mysore Empire developed a lot. Okay, but in 1799 AD, that is in 4th Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan died and the Mysore was annexed by the British, that is Mysore was under the control of the British. Now let's understand where this Mysore was in the map. So here is the map of our India, that is old map of our India, and you can see Mysore over here near the Hyderabad. The yellow portion inside the circle is the Mysore, and we know that this is the Hyderabad. So Mysore was near Hyderabad. Okay, and we have the other states. The first one is areas near Delhi. Okay. So after the fall in Mughal Empire, we know that Rajput kings of that region around Delhi made attempts to establish their kingdoms. Okay, so the Rajput kings wanted to establish their region after the fall in the Mughal Empire. Okay, and among them all was a prominent one, and he was Savai Mansingh of Jaipur. So the Savai Mansingh of Jaipur was so skillful politician, was a reformer, legal expert, and especially an expert of science and astronomy. Under him, the empire, that is the empire near the Delhi, developed so well that during those time there was no say in the science and technology, but he made very much efforts to develop those technologies. Like he made reforms in science and technology, mathematics, trigonometry, and also the social reforms. Okay. Then we have Bangash Pathans and Rohilas. Bangash Pathans and the Rohilas were in the region between Aligarh and Kanpur. That is, Muhammad Khan Bangash established a small but powerful state, and this state was spread from the south of Himalayas. We know that the Himalayas are in the north, and so from the south of that and to the north of the Ganges river, that is, Ganges means Ganga river. So between the Himalayas and the Ganga region was the empire of Muhammad Khan Bangash. Okay, and their first capital was Anwala in Bareilly, and it was shifted to Rampur later on. Okay, and they were always at struggle against Ayodhya, Delhi, and Jats. All right. Then we have Rajputana. So after the fall of Mughal Empire, Rajputana kings, that is their conditions, and in the Rajputana region, their conditions changed in an important way. Okay, and the states like Jaipur, Udaipur, and Jodhpur continued to their development. So these states coined a very well development in their empire. But during the time of British power, there was important changes in their political life. Okay. Then we have Sikh power. So in the 17th century, Sikh Guru Har Gobind Singh tried to develop Sikh as a fighting unit. So the major reason for development of Sikh, that is introduction of Sikh, was to inculcate them as a fighting unit. So by the time of 10th Guru, that is Guru Gobind Singh, Sikh emerged as a powerful group. And the army of Guru Gobind Singh fought many battles with the army of Aurangzeb. Okay, and after Guru Gobind Singh, Banda Bahadur took the leadership and continued the campaign against the Mughal. Okay, and under his rule, many parts of the Punjab became more powerful, and one of the main reason was the invasion of Iran. Okay, then by the 18th century, Ranjit Singh extended the Sikh empire, and he established his empire on the western bank of the Satluj river, that is, on the western side of the Satluj river, and he took under control Multan, Kashmir, and Peshawar. Multan, Kashmir, and Peshawar under his empire. Also, he developed the army on the lines of European style. He also recruited Europeans in his army. Also, there were cordial relationship with the British power, with the Sikh power. But after his death, that is in 1839, Governor General Dalhousie annexed the Sikh Empire. That is, after his death in 1839, that is after the death of Ranjit Singh, the Governor General Dalhousie took the Sikh Empire under Britishers' control. Okay. Then we have Maratha power. Maratha gave the toughest challenge to the Mughal power. Okay, Shivaji waged war with Mughal and Bahmani powers in south and established Maratha rule. Shivaji was born as a son of an ordinary soldier in 1627 AD. Okay, and he gave the toughest battle to the Maratha. And by 1680 AD, Maratha was so powerful that it stood with the comparison to Mughal Empire. Okay. Mughal Empire and the Maratha were comparable by the 1680. But with the passage of time, Aurangzeb imprisoned Shahu, that is, Shahu was the grandson of Shivaji. But after the death of Shivaji, he was released. Okay. After the release of Shahu, there was infighting between the Shahu and his aunt Tarabai. And the struggle was going on with the against the Mughal till 1700 AD. Due to this infighting and the battle against the Mughal, new system was emerged, and that system was known as Peshwa. Peshwa were generally the prime minister under the rule of Chhatrapati, that is Maratha king. But after this fighting and the feud, that Peshwa became the real ruler of the Maratha, and the Chhatrapati became the nominal ruler. Okay, so the first Peshwa was Balaji Vishwanath, who was a Brahmin, and he was on the side of Shahu and eliminated his enemies, and he was instrumental in the expansion of the Maratha power. Okay, but he took up the power of the Shahu and became the real ruler of the Maratha. After his death, his son, that is Bajirao I, became the second Peshwa of the Maratha. Okay. Then Bajirao I is remembered as one of the most effective guerrilla warriors after Shivaji. What do you mean by guerrilla warriors? Guerrilla warriors are those who fight in guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is not a proper war, but it is like here and there. You go with different tactics all the time. Okay. So the Marathas ruled Maharashtra, Malwa, that is Maharashtra, Malwa, Gujarat and Bundelkhand, and also won Janjira, and they kept Portuguese under their control. Okay. Bajirao I died in 1740 AD, and he was succeeded by his son Balaji Bajirao, and Balaji Bajirao was also known as Nana Sahib, who was the third Peshwa. Okay. But during the third battle of Panipat in 1761, that was between Ahmad Shah Abdali and the Marathas lost the battle, but they were not decimated, that is, they were not reduced to the zero. So they rose again under the leadership of Madhavrao, who spread the Maratha rule till Delhi. Who spread the rule till Delhi? Madhavrao. Okay, but he passed in 1795 AD. Okay. Until then, British used powerful strategies and challenged Marathas in three battles. So Anglo-Maratha war, that is British and Maratha war, they had three wars. So we have Anglo-Maratha War 1, Anglo-Maratha War 2 and Anglo-Maratha War 3. So the Marathas lost in the third battle, and it ended the Peshwa tradition, and the control was shifted to the Britishers. Okay. Then we have Assam and northeastern states. So during the beginning of 18th century, northeastern states of India were under famous tribal states. So in 11th standard we studied that in eastern part there were Ahom kingdoms, right? So during the beginning of 18th century, northeastern states of India were under the famous tribal states. Then Borphukan was a powerful Assamese leader. He was an army leader who defeated the Mughals and made Assam very powerful. So under the army leadership of Borphukan, Assam became very powerful. Then there was Ahom ruler Rudra Singh, who is also known as Chhatrapati Shivaji of the East India. Okay. But their rule, that is the tribal rule of eastern states of India, came under we can say danger after the Cornwallis focused his gaze towards Assam and the northeast. So what did Britishers do? First they won the Burma in 1826 AD. We will look in the map where is Burma. And after that, by the time of 1885 AD, most of the eastern regions, after the 1885 AD, most of the eastern region was already under the control of Britishers. Now let's understand it with the help of a map. So here we have the zoomed in map with neighboring countries of our India. So we know that this is Bangladesh, but this was part of our Bengal before 1947, okay? And here we have Burma. Today Burma is known as Myanmar, okay? So we know that Britishers gained the control of the Bengal and also the Eastern Bengal, right? And they wanted to take the control of the eastern states, that is from this region. Let me mark it in other color. In this region they wanted their control. So what they did was they took the control of the Burma, okay, in 1826 AD. And so now you can see, let me make it again. This was under the control of Britishers, and this Bangladesh or Bengal and the Eastern Bengal was under the control of Britishers. So it was very much easy for them to annex this eastern state, okay? And so by 1885 AD, most of the eastern region was already under the control of Britishers, okay? So here we complete our second chapter. Thank you.